Okay, I'm going to try to do my best to help you understand what's happening right now with all these orders that are being issued and all these you must be quarantined and you must obey this and that, and it's really shocking to many people, and most people seem to prefer to try to ignore it and not talk about it. But I'd like to talk about it with you today using just basically one word: understand. Now, I got this word from the Hoax phony court system. So, for example, commonly, if an individual is accused of something in the courtroom, I believe it's the judge who will say, "Do you understand the charges against you?" Now, of course, everyone who's just sort of operating with the idea that this system is for me and it loves me and it'll give me justice will say, "Yes, I understand." Now, what you have to do is break up the word understand. So in essence, the person uses two words. Do you understand the charges against you? So let's just simply reverse the two words and say, do you stand under the charges against you? Now, in essence, what that's saying is, do you admit that you're guilty? Do you admit you've wronged this hoax system? So in other words, it seems as if in the hoax system, the individual who's in the room called the courtroom, which is a courtroom of so-called justice, just admitted guilt. Yes, I stand under the charges. No, yes, I understand. Or yes, I stand under. So if you can imagine that it's raining outside and you want to get under a roof. So you run to the nearest place that has a roof and you will stand under the roof. Now that's exactly what is happening. So there are two sources of authority or power. Do you stand under this false system? Yes, I understand this false system and stand under the charges. Or, no, I do not understand the charges. I know it sounds a little corny and it sounds a little fishy. Well, that's because it is corny and fishy in that the whole entire thing is based on puns on words, archaic usage of words. And the reason for that is it goes all the way back to what's called the Roman canonical law, which was instituted in the reign of the popes throughout history. And that was the law that ruled. And that law has been disguised in what we call our legal system. But it's really the ancient law that Rome used, and incidentally, we are under Rome, and I can explain that in another video. I've got so many things I'd like to explain, and I never really had much of an audience or anybody who was ever interested in what I had to say, because most people will dismiss me within a matter of seconds. But you, my listener, you, my viewer, you obviously have not dismissed me. So I would like to pause for just a moment and say thank you. Thank you for not dismissing me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you stay with me, I can show you all kinds of things, but you have to stay with me. You have to abide with a more simple presentation rather than fancy, fast-moving, cut videos, and that's what everybody loves. But this is just a simple, I'm going to sort of, in a sense, lecture, but I want it to be more I'm talking to you, but I have to construct these ideas visually for you so you can visually see them and hear them, okay? So, what happens is that the hoax system will basically push you, force you, twist your hand, twist your mind, do anything and everything it can so you will stand under a false authority. And of course, the authority in this world is none other than the prince of this world, none other than the prince of darkness, or the devil. Now, if you don't believe in the devil, I think I've lost you. But the devil is real, and he owns pretty much everything here in this world. And if you allow him, he will be glad to show you his hoax world. All right? Now, for me, one of the things was realizing that a few things were a hoax. But then jumping to, oh my gosh, it's an entire hoax system. I mean, it's pervasive. And the ones who control are the ones who know about the hoax system. And of course, they tap into it. Okay? They use the false authority or the false power. Okay? So now that leads me to my next little handmade slide here, which is simply the quotation of Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to zero in on that for you so it's really clear. Okay, very simply, Jesus said in Matthew 28:18, all power, that's the King James translation of a Greek word, all authority, that's the New International Version translation of the Greek word, is given unto me. Now don't get hung up on the translations, because in a way, power and authority are the same thing. They sort of coexist together. And power is authority, and authority is power. Okay? But Jesus is saying that all power / all authority is given unto me. Now, when Jesus says the word all, guess what he means? All. So ultimately, Jesus stands above the hoax system, but he allows for it. Now, if you go into the temptations of Jesus in the wilderness, you will see the devil trying to impose on Jesus the hoax system. And he said, all these kingdoms are yours if you just worship me. Now, Jesus didn't refute the devil. Jesus did not refute the devil when he was out in that wilderness, when the devil made such a claim, which says to me, yes, the devil has the power to do this. He does have the power to give people power, influence, authority, and wealth. And someone asked me about secret societies. Well, basically, secret societies are tapping into this very idea of the devil out in the wilderness, and they found out it is true. They found out it is true. If you cooperate with the devil and you're willing to do his work, he will very much enrich you with the things of this world. And yes, you can. You can become, quote, like a wealthy man or wealthy woman or whatever. But you have sold your soul. You have sold your soul. So eventually that means you do pay the price. Okay? Now, many people do want to live for this life, and they don't mind paying the price. So they join the secret societies. Some of them are not really aware of what's going on. But the higher up you go in any secret society, they are completely aware that ultimately the source of power is the devil. Ultimately, the source of all their influence and wealth is the devil. So the temptation is really great once a person gets into these secret societies to tap into this reservoir of riches and wealth and influence and power. Now, here's what you have to do. You have to say no to this world. I don't want it. I want what Jesus offers, period. I don't care if I have great riches. I don't care if I'm some big influential person in this world. I don't care if nobody knows my name. The only thing I care about is to love Christ and to know His ways. Okay? So, now, we've established that there is a stand under, which is a pun on understanding, and those who stand under the devil will go ahead and tap into the kingdoms of this world, as the devil offered Jesus in temptation of the wilderness. So now we got to bring this back to you and to me. You're my listener. You're my watcher. So I've got to bring it back to you and to anybody who dares to watch any of these videos. And here's the answer. That's my next little crazy slide for you. Okay? And this one I may have to adjust my camera here, so please hang on. Notice please, it's in the form of an arrow. Okay? So it's authority coming from somewhere, coming down. So if you can picture it this way, there's authority coming down. But the question is, whose authority is it? Okay? Whose power is it? All right? So now, that's you in the middle. And that's me. Okay? You following me? That stick man or stick woman in the middle is you. It's me. And I'm going to add to that, it's anyone on the face of this flat earth. All right? So, there's two powers at work. There's two authorities. Now, the one authority completely engulfs this world. And that authority is the devil. And you will find it in the state in which you live in. I mean the literal state in the United States. If you're in another country or another land, you will find it in your country or your land. And it's right above you, in a sense. Now, there is another authority that isn't tied to this world. Okay? And Jesus told us that He was to take us out of this world. In other words, it's not really His kingdom right now for us to really be so highly involved so we can get all the things the devil offered in the wilderness. Now, that's not to say that you cannot strive to improve yourself and get a better job. That's not to say that you can strive to maybe get another car because your car is broken down and just barely runs. It's not to say that at all. But it's simply to say that your focus in life, your whole purpose in life, is not to stand under the devil. Now, what that means is that there's an entire false hoax system that wants to engulf you, almost like smoke coming out of a burning building, and such intensive smoke that if you just stand there, the next thing you know, you'll be engulfed in smoke. And you'll not be able to see anything because you've bought into everything that, quote, you've been told. You've been a good little citizen. You've been a good little person who wanted to just always listen to anything you were told by the hoax media system and by the hoax false rulers. Now, all government, no matter how much you want to believe in it, is under the hoax false system. Oh, I know. You think if you just elect so-and-so, he or she will change it. Well, folks, there may be some people in positions of lower levels of government that really are not aware of this, that really do not participate in this, okay? But as you go up the ladder, the Jacob's ladder, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So that the big leaders, no matter who they are, no matter what, quote, party they represent, they are tapped into the false authority power system. Okay? Now that's a tough one to get hold of. And again, in my own life, I could see some hoaxes here and there. I could see some phony baloney here and there. But I couldn't get hold of the idea that it's a system. It's worldwide. This ties into the concept in the Bible called the world. And that word, the world, can have different meanings. Sometimes it just simply means creation, the cosmos, what you behold with your eyes, the stars, the moon, the sun, the flat earth. Okay? But there's another meaning, and that other meaning is used by the Apostle John, in particular in his epistles. And by that he means the hoax lie system. That the whole world is under the devil, and the whole world is about promoting the devil's so-called ways. And in another video, I used the way of Cain. And that's why I think in that video I did about the hospital, the man was holding a cane. Because it was a pun. He's for the way of Cain. He's for the hoax system. He wants to hoax you. If you watch that video I have on hospital hoax and the security officer. Okay? So the way of Cain is the false system run by the devil. So that's you right now in there. And you can see above you is authority. And the one is crying out, stand here, stand under the devil. Just buy the lies. Don't be like this guy on War Backwards is Raw. Don't be like Dave Johnson. Don't be like others like Jungle Surfer. Don't be like RV Vids. Because they're all pretty wacky. I'm in that category right with them now, okay? So you can go that way if you want and just swallow every lie and just do what you're told and keep chasing a virus, keep spraying everything in your home, wear your little mask when you go out. Don't worry, eventually it'll be lifted when you're told, when the work is done. Or you can put yourself and stand under the true way of life. Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life. And if you get the mind of Christ, the power and authority of the false system cannot be at work in your life. Oh, you'll struggle with it. I struggle with it every day. And everybody around you buys into it. And you may be a very lone bird, okay? You might be a very strange bird. But I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to have fear. You're not going to have anxiety. You're not going to stress yourself out over any of this. And so many people around me right now are so stressed out and filled with so much anxiety, and depression is starting, and despair is coming. But don't worry, the government's going to solve it for you. And that's a whole nother video I'll try to get into. But basically, I wanted you to see that you need to stand under the authority of Christ, and you need to reject and not stand under the authority of the devil or the hoax lie system. Thank you for watching. End of video.